Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to do something pretty fun. We're going to decode the entire history of modern commerce using something we all know, and honestly, something we all love, dessert. It turns out, if you look closely at the ordinary things in our lives, they can reveal these massive, sweeping changes in exactly how our society operates.
So let's dive right into this simple but honestly profound question that sits at the very heart of human progress. How exactly do economies change over time? Usually, when we try to answer this, we use dense jargon, we talk about global supply chains, or we stare at these super complicated charts. But what if we didn't have to? What if the answer to how our entire economy evolved was sitting right there on your kitchen counter, directly affecting your wallet?
Well, our source material makes this incredible claim. The entire history of economic progress can be summarized in the four-stage evolution of the birthday cake. It's such a brilliant, digestible metaphor. It takes these completely abstract macroeconomic theories and bakes them, pun absolutely intended, into something we can all instantly wrap our heads around. To see how this works, we're going to track how value shifts across four distinct eras. We'll start way back in our agrarian roots, step into the industrial boom, transition into the service-based era, and finally arrive at the time-starved 1990s. Each of these eras completely redefined what we value, and more importantly, what we're actually willing to pay for.
Okay, let's rewind and start our journey in the agrarian economy. This is a system based primarily on agriculture and harvesting raw farm commodities. Now, this was a time where labor was abundant in the home, but prepackaged convenience, that simply didn't exist yet. If you wanted something, you had to grow it, harvest it, or literally make it yourself through immense personal effort.
So in this agrarian system, mothers made birthday cakes completely from scratch. We're talking about mixing basic raw farm commodities: flour, sugar, butter, and eggs. There were absolutely no shortcuts here. The value was entirely in the raw materials themselves, and the labor? Well, that was supplied 100% by the parent.
And because you're providing all of that sweat equity yourself, the entire cake costs just mere dimes to produce. Since the broader economy hasn't processed or refined these goods into any sort of convenient package yet, the financial cost stays incredibly low. You are quite literally trading your own time and energy to keep the monetary cost near zero.
But fast forward a bit as industrialization advances and the focus shifts from those raw commodities to manufactured goods. We enter the industrial economy. This is a system defined by mass production and pre-packaged items. Society is changing fast, factories are booming, and suddenly convenience is a real thing you can just purchase straight off a store shelf.
Enter companies like Betty Crocker. In this new era, they step in to do the initial mixing for you. So moms are no longer buying raw flour and sugar separately. Instead, they're buying a manufactured good, a pre-mixed box that practically guarantees a perfect cake every single time with a fraction of the measuring and sifting. It's a real game changer.
And this dynamic brilliantly illustrates the shift. We happily accept a slight price increase, paying $1 or $2 instead of mere dimes, in exchange for that convenience. The economic value has moved away from the raw materials and is now firmly attached to the manufactured good. We're essentially just buying a little bit of our time back.
But society just kept accelerating, didn't it? Eventually, even mixing a box of Betty Crocker took way too much time, and that brings us straight into the service economy. In this system, the primary output isn't a tangible good in a box anymore. It's labor and it's expertise. We're no longer just buying things, we are paying other people to do things for us.
So at this stage, busy parents completely stop mixing and baking altogether. Who has the time? Instead, they begin ordering fully baked cakes directly from the bakery or the local grocery store. You aren't just buying ingredients anymore, you're paying for the labor of a professional baker to mix, bake, ice, and beautifully decorate the cake for you. Now, because you're outsourcing the actual service of baking, the price jumps dramatically, up to $10 or $15. Think about that for a second. That is 10 times as much as the packaged ingredients cost in the industrial era, and vastly more than those mere dimes of the agrarian era. The economic value has shifted entirely into the realm of human service. And finally, we reach the climax of our economic evolution, the era of the time-starved 1990s parent and the rise of the experience economy. In an experience economy, businesses don't just sell goods or services. They create and stage entire memorable events for their customers. The product itself literally becomes the memory of the event.
We've gone from busy parents in the service economy who outsource just the baking to time-starved 1990s parents who neither make the cake nor even throw the party themselves. The physical effort on the part of the parent has essentially dropped to zero as they seek out a complete, turnkey solution for their kid's birthday.
Instead of hosting at home, dealing with the messy kitchen, the chaotic games, and the inevitable frosting mashed deep into the living room carpet, they turn to specialized businesses. Companies like Chuck E. Cheese's, the Discovery Zone, or the mining company step in with animatronics and ball pits to orchestrate the whole thing. These businesses aren't really selling food, they're staging an experience.
And as you'd guess, when you're paying a business to orchestrate an entire experience, the cost escalates exponentially. We're now talking about $100 or more. But parents are happily paying this massive premium because they're buying back all of their time, avoiding all the stress, and guaranteeing a totally memorable event for their kids.
Now, here is the detail that absolutely blows my mind. The business stages this huge, memorable event, and they often just throw the cake in for free. The actual birthday cake, the physical item that used to be the entire focus of the mother's labor, the sole source of the cost, and the literal centerpiece of the agrarian and industrial eras, is now just an afterthought. It's been commoditized so much that it's given away as a free add-on to the experience.
When we step back and look at this whole evolution, it flows so logically. As we move from an agrarian economy dealing in commodities to an industrial one making goods, to a service economy offering services, and finally to an experience economy staging experiences, the value escalates massively at every single stage. We go from mere dimes to over $100 simply by shifting what we, as consumers, are actually paying for.
You can literally trace this exponential premium we're willing to pay as we progress into higher economic value offerings. That jump from a $2 good to a $15 service is definitely significant, but that massive leap up to a $100 experience, that truly shows what modern society values most of all, our time and memorable experiences.
As our source material so perfectly concludes, welcome to the emerging experience economy. This massive shift from spending mere dimes on raw ingredients to dropping $100 on outsourced parties is exactly what defines our modern commerce. It perfectly explains why businesses today are constantly trying to turn their stores, their apps, and their everyday products into full-blown experiences.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder as we wrap up today's explainer. If the cake, the original core product, is now just a free add-on to a $100 event, and we've already outsourced the goods, the service, and the experience itself, where does the economy go from here? What on earth is the next evolution of economic progress beyond the experience? Thank you so much for exploring this amazing economic indicator with me today.